all our fault. There's two things you can do about it. You can live with them or you cannot. If you go Mgtow, you cannot. Remember when I talked about those bucks at the beginning? Deer, right? Say there's half a dozen deer trying to screw the shit out of 10 does, right? Half a dozen. One of them wins, the other 5 go off. They don't have to do that, right? They live happily as bachelors. And in fact, when the buck gets done fucking the does, he goes off and returns to his bachelor lifestyle with the other bucks. As a man, we don't have that system. You can screw all the women you want, and you don't have to keep them. You see, whether or not you're with a woman, she's going to be miserable. They're out there. 4 billion miserable souls that can't be satisfied emotionally, and they can't be satisfied physically. It's a rare woman that can be emotionally satisfied. It's a rare woman that can be physically satisfied. It is their nature to be miserable. And it is our fault because we keep giving to them as a consequence of our development as males, as men, making the world a better place. Homes, roads, dams, bridges, right? Societal structures as a result of our evolutionary efforts, our intellectual efforts, our physical efforts, as in engineering. Women's lives are improved also. They come along with us, whether you're with them or not. If I build a bridge to cross a canyon, others are going to travel it after me. That's what men do. And women come along for the ride. They always have. But it's not as a result of their effort. Women don't accomplish for themselves. They can't point to what women do and say, see what women do? Right? They have no sense of satisfaction in self and accomplishment. And I think it's a lie for them to sit back and say raising children is the hardest thing to do on the planet. I disagree. I think that's a matter of perspective. Perspective. I've raised 2 sons. That's difficult, but it's very rewarding. I'm very satisfied with it. But women, they're miserable for it. Ask them. It's the hardest job in the world. It's a thankless job. Are you kidding me? I hear kids say thank you all the time. And I tell you what, if you're raising a child to be responsible for itself, you tell it and teach it. When someone does something for you, you say thank you. Right? You smile. You teach that, right? You teach a respect for the efforts of others, the care of others. For some reason, women don't get that. You know, and no matter how much we teach them, no matter how much we lead by example as men, no matter how great the man, women are going to be miserable. The only time I've seen women truly happy, with a rare few exceptions, is when they see the misery of other women. I talked about that in an earlier story. A woman will complain to her friend about how hard and how bad she's got it until she's got other women to brag to. Now, I've told the story about where I started saying I have the penis, right? My ex-wife would have a bunch of women over to the house, and they'd be around the kitchen I built, this fucking enormous kitchen. It's fucking cherry wood everywhere and granite. And I'd walk in amongst them, and I'd go, hey, I don't know what you girls are talking about, but I have the penis. And they would go nuts, right? Oh, no. I go, yeah, it is. It's right here. It's right here. I have the penis. I go, she doesn't have the penis. I have the penis. I'm the man. I have the penis. And they get fucking mad, right? They kept wanting to point to the ex and say, no, she, you know, they get mad. It's funny as fuck. Right? They wanted to say they're the boss and they're this and they're that. I'm the boss. No, you're not. You're not doing anything. But what was interesting is, right, before those women showed up, my ex would be a miserable sod. Mad about this, mad about that. It's not good enough. It's not clean enough. I just need a little help. You know, all the bitching and complaining. But as soon as her friends showed up, oh, they call on the phone and she's happy to tell them all about it. They show up and she's, oh, so happy to give them a tour of the fucking palatial mansion, the property, the ranch, and sit around and talk about how successful she was and all the things she was doing. Oh yeah, that's when they pretend to be happy. And tell you what, when that door slammed on the last one, it was right back to fucking misery. Right? There wasn't a thank you one. Thank you for building this fucking house so I could brag to all my friends and make them feel like shit about themselves. Oh, thank you, honey. You did such a good job on everything. Right? Now I can rub it in everyone's face. Nope, not even that. Not even that much gratitude. And I'm not going to lie and say she never said thank you. But as I described in the cactus video, usually I'd just say, hey, where is my thank you for all that I've done? And I don't mean for all time, I meant just for that fucking day. How about a thank you? How about a little appreciation, right? It's almost like she hadn't been taught. Well, I know she had, except she made the choice, and I talked about this just a bit ago. Is it a choice or is it their nature? It's both. It's their nature to be ungrateful and unthankful, because that's how women are. They've never had it to deal with it themselves. It's always been at a man's effort that they have lived so well. So what's the solution, guys? Well, on a personal level, we accept responsibility for ourselves. If you don't want to deal with women, don't. Go Mgtow. Go your own way. Deal with women as you see fit, as often as you see fit, and for what purposes as you see fit. And women are benefiting from our efforts. Homes, roads, bridges, technology, etc. You know, they want freedom, they got it. They want independence, they got it. But let them be fully responsible for themselves, except where society provides for everyone. And I'm not talking about welfare, I'm talking about roads and bridges and technology. Let's see if they can advance. Right, since the women's liberation bullshit started way back in this even the early 1800s, let them do it for themselves. Let them truly evolve. Stop interfering in their lives, because we're making them miserable. Because they have no accomplishments of their own. They can't do it on their own. Right? But let's let them try and develop and evolve. Right? If they had to walk 5 miles every day to work and then 5 miles home, would they do it? No, physically they couldn't do it. Physically, it's too demanding. Physically, it's too hard. Throw in a little cold or heat and it makes the situation even worse. Men could do it. We can march in 100-degree weather 5 fucking miles one direction and 5 miles back at the end of the day after working all day. Same with cold. 20-degree weather out, you can go 5 miles each way. It's going to be cold, but you'll make it. Women, no. See, that's why it's a man's world. Physically, we're capable. Mentally driven to deal with that shit. You know, if that was a situation that everyone had to walk to where they're getting, oh, women would be clamoring to get back into that kitchen. Fucking clamoring to get out of the cold and the heat. But we've made it too easy for them, and they're miserable for it. They thought with cars, heaters, air conditioners, that they would be able to keep up. Well, see, it's not just a physical game, it's also a mental game. They can't do it. They're miserable, And every time we do something for them, to make it easier for them, to make it better for them, to make them more comfortable, they're all those things. It's comfortable. It's easy. They're content with that, but they're miserable on the inside. Right? They don't accept responsibility for themselves because they've never had to. And when they do, they realize they don't want that responsibility. They want someone else to do it for them, someone else to give it to them. And we as men keep trying because we're supposed to be the providers. We do it personally and we do it socially. We're the providers. We want our lives to be better. Women can't handle it. They don't like that. They're miserable creatures. We give them everything, and they're still not happy. And I hearken back to 1950. They had it all. 1955, they had everything. Every fucking thing. And what did they want? More. They wanted to do it on their own. They wanted to be free. They wanted to start controlling men to a greater degree. Because that's really all they can do, is control men. And when you take that control away, oof, they get mad. They get mad. Why are you so miserable, women? Right? They'll tell you. It's because men are the problem. It's the patriarchy. It's our entitlement. Right? No, they're just not happy with their lot in life. They're genetically predisposed to being miserable creatures. The best they can do is be content. And it's a rare woman that's self-sufficient. Rare, rare indeed. And even then, severely limited. So my recommendation is go Mgtow. Leave them to their own devices. Let them learn on their own. Stop being responsible for them. And I know we're trying, and the courts don't want it to happen. The government doesn't want it to happen. Both the spoken and unspoken social agenda is to not let it happen. To continually make men work hard to pay for the things that women want, and to take from us to make them more comfortable, to make it easier for them to try and find a way, right, to step up, to be responsible for themselves, to have a sense of accomplishment, to find happiness. But what they're going to find is, even if they could do all of that, they're still going to be miserable, and they're still going to blame someone else. Because an immoral and an amoral creature, which is what women are, cannot do that. When you're moral, you accept responsibility. You're accountable to yourself and to others. Women shun that. They're like children. They have childlike minds, as we've discussed. And there you have it. I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great day. I got to head off to work. Think about it. Think about all you've done and how miserable they still are. Miserable. Miserable. Not my fault. Not my fault. And can I laugh at them? Sure. Right? Because I've tried to help and it doesn't. So let them be miserable. You guys be cool. Semper Fi. Mgtow is freedom. It's freedom. Freedom for you as an individual, and it can be freedom for men in general if they choose to accept that and let go of this desire to try and make a miserable creature happy against its will. You guys be cool. I have the penis. Mgtow. Freedom. Yeah.